You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Klondike After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Klondike After Show.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Klondike After Show with this sweet tune that's got me all excited.
Banjo music here.
Oh, yeah. It's for a big adventure. This really is like a giant adventure show. That's how I thought of it. But first, around the table, Stephanie Giorgi.
Hello, everyone.
And Dillon for the first time.
All right.
Ever.
Yeah.
Oh, great, yay.
Already rocking it to the banjo music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Scott Moore.
Woo. I'm glad I need to do like a Bill Cosby like banjo to banjo music here.
We got this going. Hey guys, I'm Dave Klein, and we're doing the Klondike After Show for part 1. So this is going to be the 2-hour first part that aired. It was this past Monday for our time, and next week we'll be doing the second part. The week after that, the third part, and that's how we decided to block it off for ourselves. So for the first 2 hours, let's go ahead and jump into the immediate adventure. So I guess we start with kind of that teaser of what we're going to see, which is the avalanche.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
How frustrating and sad for everyone. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah, well, they said 10 seconds. Right?
And I was like, an avalanche will definitely ruin your day, like you just said.
Well,
I know, right?
at first I was really confused about what the characters were talking about when they were talking about like a syphilis day. I was like, what are they talking about? Who is this person? It's like, I didn't get it. But then as the show progressed back to that scene, I was like, oh, yeah. That makes sense now. But I was looking at some stats on this pass, and this is the Chilkoot Pass, and apparently Chilkoot Pass. And apparently 100,000 people during this gold rush tried to make it to Klondike and to the area, and only 30 to 40,000 people actually survived.
And only like 4,000 actually struck gold.
Yeah,
out of all those people.
Not very good odds.
Not very good odds at all.
Not very, yeah.
I believe
as we learn.
Yeah, and then even though those 4,000 people struck gold, that doesn't necessarily mean they struck a lot of gold either when you really think about it.
That's
Right.
true.
They were just little pieces. I mean, good luck to them, I guess.
Right.
You know, they said that even the people who made it that didn't strike gold still made more money when they got there because the jobs were so valuable because there weren't enough workers. Too many people were out there trying to make gold, so...
Yeah, that's true. And apparently everything sold for a lot of money there, too,
yeah.
in Dawson City because of how much everything was worth.
Right? Like, I noticed, like, I know I'm getting ahead of myself with the whole bath.
Yeah.
$5?
$5.
That's a lot of money. That's like $130 in today's world. Like, that's a lot of money for a freaking bath.
Hey, better be a good bath.
Expensive. I know.
It's
Like, holy
definitely
crap.
a good bath. It's probably going to be the best bath you'll ever have.
It's
So.
like
Totally
crazy.
worth it.
Yeah, you know, after you dodge an avalanche and, you know,
Yeah, right.
survive whatever.
Yeah, but you should think that they don't take baths often or at all. So it's a little more...
Yeah, I'm wondering like when it got very commonplace because it didn't used to be. I'm kind of curious when that is. Like what era people were like, okay, maybe we should start taking baths. That's a good idea.
When syphilis started coming around.
Like, let's do that. But let's go ahead and talk about the beginning of this show then, which is after that, they're in college. They're at Emerson College. That's where they were. And we get our introduction to Rob Stark without a beard. That's
yeah.
I think that's how we all think of it.
Rob Stark in New York City.
Yeah.
That was great.
So Bill without a beard, and it's funny to me watching that because you actually see the progression too of every single new scene until they start shaving.
Right.
They do slowly get more and more scruffed as it progresses through time, which is nice.
That's what I noticed too. I thought that was
Yeah.
a really great way of showing time elapsing was being able to have the beard growth.
Beard growth time elapsing.
Let's just all do that here too. Stephanie's
I'll try.
gonna really.
I mean, who knows? I might be able to grow better than the three of you. So.
Well, you're gonna surpass all of us. Right. Like, wow, Stephanie.
I'll make sure to be like that for this show.
We're learning new things. There's a circus tent outside. They need a bearded lady.
Yes.
You can jump in. So we find out a lot about the characters immediately. Byron likes gambling just a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Just a little bit.
And dominoes. What are dominoes then? 12 dominoes is what he
Is that what he was playing?
No, it's
No,
what
that
he
was
owed.
like the currency
It's
that
the
they were.
currency that he owed, and
Yeah.
it like added up to $100 or something like
Yeah.
that. That's
I
ridiculous.
know. I was trying to figure out what that was.
I think
what that was too.
I think I added it up to like $500. So back then, whew, that would have been a lot of money.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right. If $5 is 100 something, just
Yeah.
imagine 500.
Right. That's why they were trying to kill him.
My favorite
about
part, actually, of that scene right there was when he said, "Well, you guys are going to West. Why? It's just the white man thing to do to go West."
Yeah. I like that too.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, it was still that kind of that manifest destiny time, the go west young man. So it made sense. Like that's what you did. It was like,
Hey,
you're
people
gonna
still
graduate
do
from
it. I did
college. Yeah,
That's what
exactly. I did too.
Yeah,
I did too. I mean, yeah. So it's true. But I mean, it was really big. Then it was like, okay, they're going to graduate and they're going to go out and find some gold. So
Yeah.
Now
that was
something
what to do.
I didn't realize until later on when it became a point. It was Byron Epstein is a Jewish name, and even though I'm Jewish, I didn't realize that. For some reason, it just went completely over my
Yeah,
head.
I didn't catch on either.
I didn't catch on.
I didn't either until right now. But nice.
Oh yeah,
It's all right now.
well, it became a kind of point during the bath
It
scene, which
did.
we'll talk about
Yep.
later. But I just didn't at all notice at first. So, way to go, me and my honoring my heritage.
There you go.
Yeah. So we kind of get that idea, though, that Byron is the one who is the risky one. He's going to take risks. He's the fun one. And then
Right.
we have that Bill Haskell is the he's smart one. He's
Right.
the one.
The one who's not missing his ceremony for
Well,
gambling.
and the more practical one
Yeah.
too.
Right, of
the one
course.
that's
Yeah.
very, very practical. Like,
Although
let's
he-
save the money. Let's
Which is good. You need a balance for that. If you're going to go
Yeah.
west, someone needs to take risks and the other one needs to have logic.
It's funny because Bill really, I was thinking, he kind of is risky, though. He does take risks because even,
does.
like, he was the one who, in the first place, was like, let's do this gold thing. This
Yeah,
is cool.
No, that's a risk.
Yeah.
The whole thing was a risk. The
Right.
other guy was just too risky.
Yeah.
Started wasting money all the time.
Again, that's the balance that they both needed. One
Right.
needed to hold down the other.
But they do end up on the train and heading to their first destination, which is a random pit stop on the way where they meet the guy who gives
The
them
guy
the
at the
gold
bar.
chunk.
Mhm.
I
They
don't
were
know if he had a
ca-
name, but just random.
Random gold guy in
Nope, just
Colorado.
the fella down that.
Yeah, no, at some point they were in Colorado.
Yeah, they
too,
were
so
in
good point.
Colorado. Yeah.
So they also got a little north, I suppose. Well, I think it's north. So, but yeah, they'd already made quite a bit of progress before they found that gold. And I'm wondering what their initial intention was too when they were just going west, because all we know is they're going on.
Oh, they said they were going to be entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurs,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's,
but
they
doing
were
what?
just gonna figure it out, I guess.
You know what this show?
entrepreneuring.
Entrepreneuring, yeah.
Watching this show though made me really think like, God, my life is so boring.
I know, man. I was thinking the same.
Need to go up and
I know. I don't remember the last time I
Strike
ran
gold.
from an avalanche. I mean,
Well, it's more
Kidding.
like I moved out west and that was a risk. But other than that, it's like I was like, okay, I'm gonna find a job and just stay there and settle, as opposed to like I'm gonna move out with nothing and just spend all my money and see what happens.
Well,
Not quite like that.
right.
well, I'm basically spending all my money, but
Well, LA, yeah, good point. Yeah. But they end up finding, after that giant tentacle, they're just like, all right, we got to do this. Let's go ahead and do it. Bill's the one who actually initially suggests they do it. And apparently they're 4,060 miles, to be exact, from Alaska.
From Yukon, yeah.
From the Yukon. So Byron was actually initially skeptical, too, which was kind of an interesting point with his character. Because you'd think he'd be all in right away, like, yeah, that's a great idea. But he did have a little bit of restraint.
Right. He started with just saying, it's a lot of work.
yeah, I think that's
But he
the
wants
main
to be-
reason was
I think that's
the
what it was
work.
too.
The work, yeah.
He wanted the fast money.
Yeah, you could,
Yeah.
which you can tell that's his personality with the whole gambling thing and just how he is in
Yeah.
general, how he carries himself.
and I think from where he came from too, it seemed like he came from the city and probably wasn't the one that wanted to necessarily go and work.
Right,
You know,
of
it was
course.
like I didn't want to deal with that. Didn't want to
Yeah.
get dirty.
That's a great point.
He wanted the adventure, but not the work.
They actually did a really good job then in the beginning just to simply show Byron not at the ceremony, because that just from the start kind of lets you know how their characters were going to be for the rest of
Yeah.
the episode.
It also shows too how connected and close they were. That Bill ends up skipping out on the ceremony too
Right.
to be with him. So again, just that immediate bond that they do have.
Yes.
So they end up arriving at the Yukon, and immediately Byron was like ready to go and goes to buy this pack of supplies without consulting Bill at all, which I believe was $80 they ended up spending.
Right.
Which is a lot of money too.
Yeah.
But an interesting thing that I was reading about this in the history of this pass was apparently you actually had to do this And maybe this was before that regulation started, because there was a regulation that the Mounties ended up putting in, but you had to buy a full pack, which was 1,000 pounds.
Wow.
And people would literally make trips back and forth to get all the supplies
Carry it
there,
all.
because
And all they had was $750 together.
Yeah. Which is, you know, is still a lot for back then, but I just kept thinking it felt like a tourist attraction to me, you know, when they were almost like forced to buy this stuff. I was like, God, it just seems really like cheesy, like the boots and everything. I kept thinking like,
maybe there'll be like a saloon with a bear that plays a banjo.
that's what it felt very touristy and fake to me. So I almost felt and I guess, I don't know if they were trying to lead us to feel that way, but it was like, it was overpriced, but maybe like you're saying that they had to do it, and that's how much it cost.
Yeah, they just were trying to suck every penny out of everyone.
Right.
Yeah, I
going
think
up
it's just
there.
those entrepreneurs.
Oh yeah, they were entrepreneuring.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They were doing it right. That's how you do it the right way.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about going and digging around for gold and getting messy. Just go ahead and sell all the
provide
crap
them,
to
right?
everybody on their way up.
Exactly.
They made tons of money.
You don't have to deal with avalanches or any dangers.
Well, yeah, and then apparently on this pass too, people started eventually further down back in like '88, I believe, or '98. It was like a few years after the events of the show, but apparently they actually started doing transport services for these supplies, and they would make like $150 a day. So back then, there was a lot of money that you'd be making just off of the rich people doing this. But it really was. If you look at pictures and search it, it really looked like this single file line of people going up the mountain. So
They said there were steps carved into the ice up the mountain that were only big enough for single file. So
it's crazy. Like, it's funny how this show is really historically accurate. A lot of this show was, which is part of what I found really interesting about this show.
That's what I was
too.
excited about the show in general. Just it was nice to see something. I mean, I know that it's scripted, but historical, so it has some.
Yeah,
you know,
based in some.
It's not. Yeah, it's not like a Courtney made up.
Truth.
Yeah, of everything. It's just based in truth, and it's just.
Gorgeous scenery too.
Oh yeah,
Just want to like
totally.
make love to that gorgeous scenery. I mean, it was just so beautiful. I mean, just the
It was
whole
so
thing that went into
supple,
that.
that
It was.
scenery.
hey, well, maybe you should move to Alberta,
I think maybe
Canada.
I should.
Yeah.
Except for the cold winters, though. I don't know if I do well with that.
British Columbia, yeah.
Yeah, too cold.
Too cold.
Pretty brutal. Yeah, I visited British Columbia with my family in the summer, and that was cold already. So, winter, I don't know about that one. That's a little too cold for me, I think.
It was fun to watch, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Oh, definitely. I'll watch it in my warm living room in LA. So
With the
fine
air
that.
conditioning.
Pretend it's cold.
So they do end up finally. They get this sled that was half full, and they carried it up. After struggling with all this, they end up back at an intro where there's an avalanche, and again, there actually were these avalanches. This isn't a stretch. This actually happened. Hundreds of people died during these avalanches. But apparently, all you need to do is hide behind a rock.
That's right.
That's what we learned.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Hide behind a
Good
rock
to
and you're
know
fine.
for the future.
That was actually crazy because when I thought that Ep was dead or Byron was already dead, I was like, no way from the beginning. But he found him.
But he found him so quick, though.
Yeah.
That did kind of bother me just a little bit. I don't know if it bothered you guys, but I just felt like he was like right there and he found
must
him.
have
No,
recognize
because
the
if he
boots.
found,
Yeah,
if
the
he found
boots.
him,
They had that
Yeah.
special cowboy on them.
They did. But if he would have found him any later, he already
I
couldn't have
know.
any breath. He had to have found him quickly.
I know, it
Besides,
felt
if you
very
saw right
quick.
before he got to the rock, it barely got
Yeah,
Byron.
I
So
know.
technically he should have been there, but it does make it less of a reality.
Did you notice during the intro scene that it was actually Bill who got away? Because during the actual very intro, I was like, it looks like someone hid behind a rock, but I couldn't tell that was Bill. I just thought someone did, but then other people were getting blown away by the
Right.
avalanche. So
I kn-
did you
I-
know it was Bill?
Yeah, I noticed it was
assumed.
Bill, and
Okay.
I saw that it was his friend. So when they showed his friend later, I was like, oh wow, so he's gonna die in an avalanche? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Bummer.
I guess I just
Bummer,
missed it.
huh?
I was like,
I-
wait, what's gonna happen now?
I
don't
noticed
get
it the
this.
second time around I caught it, but I don't know why the first
I
time.
like
didn't.
how everyone runs downhill, and Bill's like, I'm gonna run uphill towards the avalanche. Get behind that rock.
Apparently he was right.
That was
Smart
right.
way.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked.
Go against the crowd.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
just like
followed his
the-
own trail. The Emerson
Yeah,
quote.
the Emerson quote from the beginning.
Go instead where there
Look at
is no
that.
path, then leave a trail.
Full circle.
Very cool. Well, and I knew that was gonna happen. The second they said the quote in the beginning, I was like, ah,
So they
kidding me, perfect.
they really set off an avalanche to film that. They put
Did they really?
Yeah, they put
Wow.
off 12 charges and blew it up so they could film that avalanche. And then
And the locals were like, please don't.
please don't do that. That's such a bad idea. So then
And they had people really get hit by it and die.
Yeah, right.
That's real too.
No, they lost 4 cameras.
Did they?
They lost 4 cameras up
Wow.
there. They're still there right now. Let's go get them.
All right. Yeah, some pretty high quality cameras.
Yeah, they're
There we
frozen.
go.
They're frozen there, so they're in perfect shape now.
Oh, perfect.
And then we'll sell them as Klondike paraphernalia and get even more money.
Yes.
eBay.
We're super entrepreneurs. Bill and Epstein, they can take notes from us.
Yes.
So Byron, the scene where he was digging him out, they actually buried him under snow, dug him a little hole. He had 4 minutes of air.
Wow.
And
That's commitment.
Yeah,
That is.
That's pretty hardcore.
Like they're gonna put a little straw, right through the snow.
And put,
So-
4 minutes of air.
So Richard Madden, Bill Haskell,
Yeah.
Which was
he had to dig him out. And at one of the takes where they reburied him and whatever, he actually couldn't get him out, and he was like, "Oh my God, I can't get him out." He only has 4 minutes of air, so that's when he dug his feet in and kicked him out, and
That was the take
that was the take they used.
Wow. Well, that's good. So
Yeah.
you just have to make it really happen.
Yes. Oh my
So everything
gosh.
is real.
That's how gritty this show is.
I mean, if that's not passion, I don't know
No,
what
I
is.
know.
They were really gonna kill that guy.
So I always imagine if I was an actor, the show I would want to be on would be like Hawaii Five-0. I'll take Hawaii Five-0. That's the show I'll take.
Yeah, not be out in the middle of the snow, being claustrophobic and
Right.
buried under the snow.
I know.
Decisions they make. So something I was wondering too is they gave an exact date for this avalanche. They gave it as June 29th, 1897, and I'm wondering if that was the day there was actually an avalanche on that exact date. I mean, we know there were avalanches.
Yeah, but if there was a big
course.
one
Yeah.
that happened that particular day. I know I meant to look back on that because since it was based in historical stuff, I'm wondering if that was true, that was a big
Yeah.
avalanche
Like a
that killed a
main
lot
one.
of people. Yeah.
I'm sure they do a lot of that just so that they can get the story together. I mean, how do you even start a story of the gold rush unless
Right.
you kind of know little ones from history?
That's true.
And
just
also,
got
did it
dialogue.
air? I'm just curious. Did it air right after Alaska Gold Rush?
It did.
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. I DVR'd it, so it's like, I'll just watch Klondike.
Yeah.
Although now it makes me curious to watch Alaska Gold Rush, so that's why they did it.
That is
Yeah.
exactly why
They
you're
did it.
absolutely right. That's why they did it, because this was a great way for them. They thought it was a perfect fit for that, and they're right.
So if you want to pitch to a TV station that doesn't do any scripted shows, now you know what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Find a reality show they do like Duck Dynasty and be like, I got the
Exactly.
scripted version of Duck Dynasty. It'd be perfect.
The origins of the
Yeah.
duck call.
Yes. So they end up making it to the peak of this mountain, and at the peak is when they see that gorgeous sight that you're
Oh
talking
man,
about, Scott.
incredible! I even took a deep breath. I was like, we made it. We made it. I was happy. I mean, we didn't make
You
it.
did
but-
that.
You felt like it because you were so exhausted having to watch all that.
It was all you. Congratulations. No, but that was a beautiful sight, and I agree. I was thinking the whole time, like, wow, like, look at the river and that. And I didn't even think, like, wow, they're going to have to trek the Yukon River right after that. I was just
No,
thinking, wow, it
neither.
feels like they made it.
Yeah.
No, I still didn't get it when they were talking about building the boat. I was kind of like, why do they need a boat out there in the middle of the land? And I
Right.
didn't even. As
soon as they got to the
picture
top
the
of the
river,
mountain.
I still didn't get that though. I'm a little slow.
First thing I thought, it's all downhill from here.
Perfect.
And they went sledding.
And they went
That's
sledding.
it.
I thought they lost their
That's
supplies.
the first thing I thought.
That's
I was
what
like,
I thought,
would so
too.
sit on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, perfect.
It'd be so much fun.
Their
So
their
it
supplies
is based on reality then.
Yeah.
So they actually consulted you.
I was trying not to let people know that, but okay.
That's her connection now.
That's what it is.
She's like, she wasn't allowed to say that. That's why she's allowed on the show. But yeah, so they end up at the Yukon River, and then we get to meet Sabine, so this new character who ends up having another idea for what she's going to do. But they meet Sabine. They end up meeting the other character whose name I'm blanking out on, but the character who tries selling them the fake claims.
He was like, Soapy or something.
Yeah, Soapy.
Yeah,
That's
Soapy.
right. That's his
Yeah.
name. Who keeps on coming back later too? Soapy Smith.
Yeah.
So he tries to sell them fake claims like right off the bat. So. Which they call him out on, which I'm glad they're smart and they give them
sure.
brains. So
Right.
good to
Well,
know that.
they just came from college, so.
Good point. Yeah, good point. Actually, college back then would have been a much bigger deal than it is now.
Right.
Not that it's not a big deal. It was a much much bigger deal back then to graduate from college. So
But it isn't a big deal.
you're like, I went to college and graduated. What are you saying?
I don't know. If
I
was like background noise. I'm like, what's going on?
Really
I'm
mad
like,
about
drama.
Part of someone's watching Klondike.
But
right now.
yeah, exactly. But once again, Byron just immediately buying a boat without consulting Bill in any way. But I mean, like, the thing is, when you think about what he's doing, everything he's doing, they should be doing. So even though he's kind of throwing away their money, it's all things they actually do need. Like, yes, you probably do want supplies with food so you can live, and you probably do want a boat so you can actually make it to your destination.
Well, you have to pay your dues. You can't just be a millionaire off of gold without doing. That's like coming out here. What do we have to do? We have to get our headshots, and we have to do this and put money towards it. When it's like, why? Because
and if you're in production, we're PAing and driving U-Hauls around.
But maybe he was going to build his own boat. That's what it looked like everyone else was doing. Maybe he wanted to save some money. Yeah, I know how to build a boat.
I was just thinking how resourceful you had to have been to do all that stuff. Like, I would just get there and be like, you mean there's a river in Ireland?
That's what I would do too. I'm like, what?
Nobody told me this. I didn't know that.
Well, I'm going back.
I was just ready to do the hiking part.
Right.
Building a boat. But I guess good thing they had all that money with them, because otherwise they'd be really screwed until they didn't have as much money anymore. But for the time being, they did. So Bill taking, and a really important point here was that Bill completely taking all the money away from Byron. And also, we get a call back here. I don't know, did you guys think, I kind of thought as soon as Bill was taking the money, like, well, Byron did say never give all your money away.
Yeah.
And Bill didn't check his shoe, which is where he seems to always put it. In his new cowboy boots. Yeah, it was the exact same spot, too. Whereas Bill had been like, down there. Down there.
Show me the boot.
Show me the boot. And let me check your underwear for good measure, too.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a different show.
Totally different show. So, yeah, they end up on the boat, and then I guess good thing everything's downstream, but they hit those white rapids, which... I guess until they hit the white rapids, I was looking at like, those don't look like bad rapids to me.
No, I didn't either. I thought the same thing. I'm like, no big deal.
Yeah, I was just like,
that's what everyone thinks to this day. That's how the people die on those rapids.
Yeah, because it looks so innocent.
Exact rapids.
So it's like, it's just water.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
White. So I've gone white water rafting before, not like big ones, but I feel like even like some of the smaller ones, that's kind of what it looked like on the smaller ones. Then again, it probably was a better boat than one that someone had just made all of a sudden. So that was probably bad.
Wooden
And a
boat.
wooden one that was going to just absolutely
Or a couple
get destroyed.
sticks tied together, going down
They
the
actually
rapids.
said that, they did it for real, went down the river. They lost about 6 or 7 pairs of oars to that water.
So 4 cameras,
water.
6 or 7 oars. We need this running tally here. I like this.
Hopefully they put that in their budget. I hope they had that in there. Here's the category for
died?
losing
We're
things.
losing most of everything
Yes.
that we're going to use for this scene here. So
They actually
We'll get
had Bill Haskell drown for real, and they had
real.
to
Brought him
emergency
back,
rescue
yes.
him.
No,
Okay.
that actually almost happened. They kept doing more takes in the river, and they pulled him out at one point, and he couldn't even move.
Yeah, because it was
Right, because it was so
hypothermia
cold.
there.
And
Practically.
the nurse said, "We got to stop. He's going hypothermic." So they were like,
Oh,
"Okay,
man.
well, that's done."
I could totally see that. Yeah, the things like Richard Madden was doing for that. You thought he got away from it from not being associated with the wall in Game of Thrones.
Right,
If you watch
exactly.
that, but he didn't. Now he had
And
to do the
now
whole
he's going
thing.
to do this.
Yeah, he said Game of Thrones was like a tropical paradise compared to this show.
Yeah, I could imagine.
too funny.
I guess he was probably, they were in Ireland, I think, for his locations. I do Game of Thrones too, that's for sure for that, so I know a lot of Game of Thrones stuff. So, yeah, but he ends up actually making it ashore and surviving, although he loses all the money at this point.
Right.
So,
And then they're split up again.
right.
All right,
They
split
were,
up.
it feels like they always were getting split up there at the beginning.
I know.
But,
Which I guess would happen. It's inevitable.
Right.
but being best friends, they always come back
Yeah, I
together.
know. It's like, they always find each other again pretty quickly.
Yeah, and well, he couldn't pull the boat over, so man, that sucks.
Yeah. And
It would suck to be that guy. Like your friend just falls off, and you're like, oh well.
Yeah, I gotta keep going.
I gotta keep going.
So I'm sorry,
Can't
but
go in there.
I have to make another Game of Thrones joke. It has to be made. The
okay.
fact that Richard Madden then comes across a bunch of wolves hunting him
Oh
down,
my God.
and I'm like,
That's
you
all I
are
thought
the
about.
dire wolf.
Yeah,
You can't. How can you let this happen? They're your friends.
Your friends.
that's the first thing I said. Wolves show up. I go, don't worry, Rob Stark.
Yeah.
You're the Wolf of the North.
This is your sigil, man. That's a Game of Thrones reference for people who don't watch Game of Thrones, but I had to make it for this one. It made so much sense there. So, but we end up having Father Judge, which according to, I don't know if we got Judge was his name at all in this show, but according to Wikipedia, his name
Yeah,
was
or on
Judge.
IMDb, that was his name.
Right, or yeah, IMDb, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Father Judge is the one who ends up saving him there, and they exchange words, and we find out that his goal and his actually to build a church up there. So he has kind of, I guess, kind of like save everyone type of.
Absolutely. I mean,
goals.
everyone needs something to hold on to or something to believe in, especially when you're going to be doing a trip like this. It's just.
Well, and he knows there's a lot of sinners up there.
Right. There's quite a few. There are a few.
What a good role for Sam Shepard.
Yeah.
You know, cowboy priest. I like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I do want to see him with a gun, just defending his turf, which it looks like might be happening.
Yeah.
But that's getting ahead of ourselves here. So, yeah, so he ends up saving him, and he says, all I want in exchange is just for you to visit my church sometime. So good thing he didn't save Byron. So Byron been like, not going to do that.
Right.
I know.
You saved the right guy for that.
Yeah, he did.
But good thing as the friends reunite that I lost all the money. Well, guess what? It's all good because I got everything. I was lying to you the whole time. It was funny to me that Byron wasn't more angry about it.
Right.
But I mean, it's like, I guess, what are you going to do? Like, his friend almost drowned
That's what
and
I was going
died.
to say. I think it was the fact that he was alive, so outweighed the money.
I guess, now that I think more about it, I guess I do like that because I feel like a lesser show would have had them fight and made a big, giant deal out of it.
Right.
When Good Friends probably would really just...
Especially in a situation where you only have each other. Why would you can't afford to fight and not have anyone else to go to, especially when you can't trust anyone that you're with.
Right. It's something where you kind of like give each other crap for it, but then you move on. So, yeah.
Man, we almost died 3 times now.
Right.
I know.
Remember when you lost all of our money?
Like, oh, you got to bring this up again. So, yeah, because there's the avalanche and now this river thing.
Right.
I mean, I think, so they have two huge points at this moment so far. So they make it to Dawson City, which is actually a bustling and happening place. And before I was doing research on it afterwards, and where I realized, oh wow, Dawson City actually really was like this. I was kind of surprised to see it that bustling. Which I guess makes sense.
Yeah, it was the kind of the center point before everyone went out to go hunt for gold.
But apparently they were supposed to be early. They were getting there before the newspapers.
They were
Well,
that's.
I mean, that guy made it all the way back, right, to Colorado with a giant tin of gold.
That's
so.
actually what I was thinking of the whole time too. I was like, and he was old. He was quite old, and he was just chilling, buying everyone drinks.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't know
Take a
what to do
couple of
with that much
bottles with
money.
you while you're at
And
it.
take a chunk of gold with you. Souvenir.
Hey, boss, you left this. No, I didn't. Get out of here. I was like, now you're showing off, okay? Now you're showing off.
But there's no law there, though.
It's like, what do
There
you
They
isn't,
imply
exactly,
there's
yeah.
nobody around to defend you.
So what do we have to do for this gold then? You're just kind of leaving it. So this is 1897 at this point. The gold rush apparently went until 1899, I believe.
Yeah.
So that does mean that this city is going to become even more bustling and more bustling as time goes on.
Right.
So, but we find out here, this is the issue where they find the hot baths, and we have Richard Madden or Bill Haskell is freezing. So
I know,
after that,
sounds incredible. The bath.
oh
Sorry.
yeah, totally. But
All I can think about is about
$5
bath.
$5 bath.
Again, it's like a tourist attraction, you know?
That's the price of a
convenience
footlong.
and
Right.
happiness.
Just so you can compare, that's the price of a footlong. Even though it would have been a lot more money back then.
Way more. That's what I'm saying. It was over $100.
Yeah, that's like
In
a
today's
lot
money.
of money. But man, like,
For a frickin'
so
bath.
Byron goes to get them baths, and then this is where the Jewish thing came into play. Is the owner wouldn't let Byron Epstein take a bath because he had the Jewish chain on him,
Yeah.
the Jewish star.
I was so surprised by that. I didn't even catch that either until then. Cause I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? Why? What's the problem?
Subtle.
Yeah, I didn't catch that at all either until that
was.
point.
Subtle little camera work.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
subtle that I didn't.
yeah.
Even
Should have like
notice.
gone back and rewatched and noticed that.
I should
See
have.
if you even noticed that chain.
Yeah,
anywhere
because
else.
at first I was like, what's the big deal?
That's a big deal.
Well, he still took his money.
Oh, poor just.
But not for
discrimination
him.
never ends.
Well, not for him, right? Just give my friend a bath.
Can't have those dirty Jews running those baths. You know what I'm saying? I'm Jewish, so I can say
I'm always not Jewish. Don't talk about my friend that way, all right?
my best friend is Jewish. It's okay. I'm not, but my best
You
friend.
were the friend that I was referring to.
I bet my grandfather's Jewish, so now I have an out.
There you go. Perfect. So we keep on, I'm thinking like we keep on getting these dialogue from someone giving us wisdom the whole time through. And I think it was actually, isn't it Soapy who's doing that, giving
Yes.
us that the
Yes.
whole time? So we get this about like the collateral that,
Right.
that you get from this trip, and that's again Soapy giving his take on everything. But they end up afterwards in the saloon after you get that little tease of what Byron's doing, which is possibly going for a loan. Although he doesn't get it at the moment, but we find out later on that he did indeed.
He did.
But he's made a new friend who's going to become an important character, which is Jack London.
Oh yeah, Jack London.
What an awesome name, too.
It is. It's a very cool name.
It is.
I'm sorry to say this, but it's a hot name.
It is a hot name. I agree.
It's a hot name.
Are you saying Dave Klein is not a hot name? Is that what you're saying there?
Change your name.
Yes.
I'm done with this show. That is a really cool name. That's like a secret agent name.
It is.
Jack London. Jack London.
And he's like, I'm going to be... some people want the gold, but I want to be remembered.
That's
it's
right.
about being remembered. So that's also a cool
I think he even
there.
tells him to remember it when he says his name.
Right, yeah, that's exactly what he says, yeah. So we find out, and Jack London's a friend that Byron's made, so they're making friends left and right, including lady friends. That ends up being a bad idea.
Women,
Bad
you can't
lady
trust women.
friend.
No, you can't trust women at all.
You can't trust
Especially
women.
when they.
There's a quote from a movie where it says, never trust women, you'll live longer.
Especially when they give you things for free.
I wouldn't even charge my boyfriend. I charge my boyfriend, but I'm not charging you. That's an interesting relationship that girl had with her boyfriend there.
Yeah.
If that's the case. But we meet our Sabine again, too.
Sure.
So Sabine, we find out, has come to be a prostitute, apparently. So that was her ambition.
Well, we don't know that she's a prostitute. We just see her in a bathtub full of champagne.
Good point. Fair enough. She just likes being naked in champagne, okay? That doesn't mean anything.
doesn't?
Mean anything.
That's actually
You guys, it feels great. Try it.
Well, I try, but I'm not a girl, so I can't speak on that fact.
I personally love my baths with Schramsberg. It's the best.
I actually got a new shower head that instead makes it so champagne comes out.
Wow.
Pretty nice.
That's how
pretty
nice
fancy.
you're living these days, you know?
But most of the girls I invite over won't take showers in it. They're like, well, I don't want to get sticky and gross. I kind of want to clean up. Well, fine.
Well,
so.
that'll cost you $5.
Fine, we're using the normal bat for $5. Exactly. So we also end up meeting another really important character, which is Belinda. So Belinda is going to become an incredibly important character. And she has this talk with Richard's character here, with Jack, about the entrepreneurship idea and the type. Because she really came out here to be an entrepreneur and sell wood, because she's selling people necessities. And as long as he doesn't step on her territory, she doesn't care if he's doing the whole gold rush thing. So yeah, really important. And she's going to keep on coming back into play.
Yeah. I think, she saw him, the new face in town, probably just wanted to make sure he wasn't coming to stomp on
That's
her.
right,
around.
exactly. Making sure what he was there for.
And then they have all these other, like, gritty looking dudes, and now you got, Rob Stark walking into town. Right. Bill Haskell, sorry.
King of the North walking into town. Like,
woo.
And she asked, she's like, what are you here for? Was it a digger or a...
It's a digger or a manager?
Manager or
something like that.
Executive. I forget what the word was.
Executive.
Well, it was. It was like the management, whatever she called it. I don't know what it was. Was it management?
Like a overseer.
Yeah. Whatever. I can't find it in my notes.
Okay, so you laborer or management? You laborer or management?
Right.
And then Bill says he's a shovelman. So that's what it was. And they're also finding out where to go to from Jack London in this scene, which is Bonanza's where to go, follow the cloud of smoke. And he's kind of dishing out advice to them. So they're getting advice from some various characters. Jack London also pointing out the guy upstairs who was super rich, bathing people in champagne, is a dumb shit, and a really smart guy who could literally who had people with him to dig for him. He was a super rich Englishman. Was
always
not
that
lucky
guy,
at all.
one guy.
I wrote down that quote because it was so funny, because it was great. It was like, Yukon's the only place in the world where a dumb shit can be a king and a king can be a dumb shit.
Yeah, that is it. Which is a great quote.
It was so great. That's one thing I had to write it down. But that was the other funny thing too that I noticed throughout the show, is that everyone was smoking to keep the mosquitoes away. I thought that was hilarious, and Jack says it.
I thought so too.
And he was like, oh, you need to start smoking to keep the mosquitoes away.
Like literally every character say that.
And they were all saying that throughout the episode, which was pretty funny.
It's actually, it's true though. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Maybe so that's why smoking became so prevalent.
Yes.
The mosquitoes.
Gotta keep them away.
Yes, absolutely.
I hate mosquitoes.
That's why we live in LA where there are none.
Exactly.
It's a fact for you people who don't live in LA. There's actually pretty much no mosquitoes here.
Yeah, the air quality kills them all.
Yeah, it's all smog.
That's right.
And the dry non-humidity here. That too, the desert climate.
Well,
The
But we'll
sun
say
and
it's the
good
smog.
weather. Right.
Yeah. But they end up afterwards, Byron, in the moment, finds out that the girl has a boyfriend, and apparently he's not too happy about this situation.
It's a bummer.
Although I wouldn't be happy about my situation if I was him, with the fact that I'd be paying for sex every time. But
Right.
apparently he's willing to overlook that factor. Maybe he was just mad that Byron got it for free. Maybe that's what he was really mad
I think
about.
that's what it was meant.
He's just mad like, he gets it for free and I don't.
Well, he walked up and he's like, "Oh, how much did you charge him?" And she's like, "Well, I didn't." He's like, "Oh,
Gosh,
that's
you
it."
see how important it is?
So that's
spending
really
all the
really
money
mad about it.
anyways, so why not spend a little more?
Wow.
So we get our prime suspect to me for later. I don't know how in this episode he wasn't to Bill a prime suspect. But basically he comes out with a gun and refuses to, and then we immediately have Father Judge coming out, sitting down and saying, "Go ahead."
Right.
Which is great. I like that he said that too. Great. Just like, I'm going to sit here and judge you.
Yeah. You are now being watched by God.
So another great quote in that moment from the guy who doesn't end up shooting Byron, which is that one day you're going to be in God's blind spot. Which he also says right in front of the priest, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Great. But
Yeah.
that's a good quote,
But it
too,
was a
I
very
think.
good quote.
So, to me, he would be a prime suspect for what happened to Byron. I don't know why Bill hasn't looked along those lines, but...
Well,
It's exhausting though. Imagine having to not trust every single person
Right.
you meet.
Well, you'd think the one person who wanted to shoot Byron would be a good suspect. Like,
or maybe it was the person who wanted half of the claim. You know what I mean? So,
That's true.
They kind of made
Yeah,
me.
because it was too easy, I thought.
Yeah,
when
they
thinking
made
it was
me.
him.
They made me move away from him.
yeah,
Me too.
So
that's a good point. Fine.
Besides, it's
Fine.
very
Good point,
sketchy
all right.
people, even back in the
but-
day, that you got to keep your eye on.
But you're right. It was like, why wouldn't he have been the obvious choice for Bill? You know,
Right.
being like, he's, checking him
well,
out.
I think he was also holding a shotgun and he got shot with a rifle. Maybe
That's-
I'm looking into it
Well,
too
maybe
far.
he has maybe he owns multiple guns. Okay,
Right? I mean, doesn't
don't-
everybody?
That's it.
I own 500 guns,
All right, well,
different types.
I am too. I'm an expert shoot.
Exactly. We're all expert shots here. So
I was
they,
like, does it look real? Do I look like
yes,
pulling it off?
100%.
This is Reels being the consultant on set
Next
for
week
Klondike.
I'll show you.
You were the one. You're like, this is how you
Yes.
actually properly hold the gun and cock it up. So they end up looking, finally, looking at the area with claims and walking through a man who is pissed at them that they're walking through his claim.
Oh yeah.
How dare they walk through?
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. But every time when they were looking at a new spot, you could tell he was listening in on their conversation,
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
not at all happy that there were basically more competition in
Right.
town is what it is. And
Exactly.
they find a
Someone's
place.
being so sensitive.
Yeah.
But it's true. I get it. It's like they're the new people, and
I
they're
get it,
moving
too.
in, and they're moving in their
Well,
space.
right, and
they're
you're,
all trying
you're
to
sitting there digging and
Right.
digging. These two new guys walk past you and
Yeah.
you go, "Hey, we're gonna dig right here."
Exactly.
You go, "Aw."
Yeah, it's like I've been digging for
So I
6
get it.
months, and what if
Right.
they find
Yeah.
this?
Right, exactly. The first day they're here or something, and
Exactly,
yeah, so I
because
get
they're
it.
putting the work in. And it's more difficult when you're not traveling with the person. Like, you don't know that they've had hardships, but you forget. So you're like, no, I worked harder. Really? I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. He actually took the alternate route. Actually, that's something else to mention, is that there was an alternate route, I believe, called the White Trail to get through to the Yukon Valley. But apparently there are a lot of bandits, and it was also known as the Horse Death Trail or something like that.
Oh, yeah, so you wouldn't make it. It's kind of, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the alternate path to get up to the Yukon as opposed to the one they took in the show. Because people would take horses and overload them, and they didn't know how to handle horses, and the horses would die after a few miles.
Oh,
And they would
then
just
you
leave
would-
them
and
there.
that's it.
And then they
Yeah.
would walk with their supply still there, go buy another horse, and have a new horse come and carry the supplies more. And there would just be horses littered everywhere. So
Oh, horsey.
No.
it was worse than the show Luck at killing horses. That's a very inside joke that some people will get. And it's for only you few people.
Not us.
Sorry for the rest of the table. Not us.
Like, it
No.
went right over.
Sorry for the rest
I know. I
of
was
the table.
like,
But they end up claiming this spot that is basically where a random stream could have been, according to, because they got this hint, look for alluvia, because that's where a stream could have been. And just this premonition that Bill had of maybe this is where there was a cave-in and a landslide, and maybe there's underneath here. So, as they point out, it's just as good as anyone else's guess. Who the hell knows?
Yeah, could be anywhere.
Exactly.
Might as well claim that hill. But no one else has been claiming the hill because I guess normally people find it in water and streams.
Right.
That's probably
That
why.
is, yeah, normally. Yeah, but I was wondering too, like going back to the claims thing, like who were the people that actually handed it out?
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Because there were the people that
How
were
they
doing the
started,
counterfeit ones.
establishment,
Right.
Yeah.
Like who? Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. Who were the people that was like official? Because I just felt like there were so many
Because
counterfeit
there
ones.
had to
should've showed
been, there
that.
had to have been, the first 5 were like, okay, now we have to start a system here, I guess.
I just wondered where just to know what was the difference between the counterfeit or not, like how you made sure you had an official one.
They give you one right after you get out of the $5 bath.
Yeah, exactly.
that's the reward that you're lose.
And here's your claim.
Here's your claim. Yeah.
But yeah, I do really wonder, and that's something maybe for next week's episode we should research, is how the claim system actually worked, because I'm really curious about that. And I was thinking about during the show, like, who's in charge of it? Like, why don't they own all the claims? And also, like,
Exactly. Like
is
they're
there
not
really
putting
like
the claim on the claims and then be
Right.
able to divvy them up.
And is there also a way that they can say, like, if someone like digs in the area and finds their gold and runs away, like, what are they gonna? I'm sure. Maybe everyone's in on it, like, no, that was that person's claim, and everyone's gonna get pissed off about it. Like, I wonder how that works.
You had like free right to just shoot that person.
Well, I guess you do.
Yeah,
but-
lawless town.
There's no law. Yeah, exactly. No law.
until later in the episode. but
Right.
yeah.
Well,
This is why
wait.
this is good that the priest is there, brings morality back to everyone.
Yeah.
But there was something like, what was it, $7 billion worth of gold that was found there during that 2-year
Really?
period. Yeah,
Was it?
so that was a
Wow.
lot. I mean, considering what that would be today, I don't even imagine. So
more
there was a
so.
lot
Insane.
there.
That was a lot of gold.
It's like $100 billion. If $5 is $100, then $7 billion is like 100 billion or something like that.
Something crazy.
$1 trillion.
It's worth more than Apple,
It's worth more than Apple.
that gold area. So, yeah, that was cool though. Like that they were kind of entrepreneurs in the sense of we're going to dig somewhere new and that's going to be our thing. So they end up getting their claim and they get a warning too, and kind of a foreshadow from Belinda,
yeah.
who's like, this might not be a good thing that you're doing this claim because now people know where you are.
Right.
Exactly.
Foreshadow to immediately afterwards when Byron gets shot.
Well, there was also a little bit of foreshadowing, which makes you think of the Native Americans that were there, the Indians.
Yeah,
that were there.
yeah.
When they had their...
They like appear on top of the hill, and then
They'd
he looks
also
back
been
up and
watching
they're
the river,
gone.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, you knew something was up because from the beginning too, like you were saying with the other guy talking about, going to find you on God's side,
Right.
Yeah,
vision or
and
whatever it was.
blind side.
Blind side. Yeah, I was like already there. I was like, okay.
Well, and apparently
trouble.
they,
Yeah,
they
totally.
even
Of
mentioned
course.
that no one was claiming on that hill because that was kind of like off limits because of the
Native Americans.
the Native
Americans up
Americans
there,
there.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yep. So you knew already there were
There's
definitely
always
people that were
someone there.
angry.
It's like, you just can never be the 1st. Yep.
Yeah, but so Byron ends up getting shot after this. A lot of foreshadows. I was actually surprised he died so soon, so early.
I'm too.
Yeah, because
He's also built for 6 episodes.
I know. That's
like,
that's what I was trying to figure that out too. I was like, are they doing?
They're gonna show us a dead body throughout the
I
entire
know.
season.
I'm still. I was trying to figure that out. I was like, are they just
Or he
going to have
comes
like
back.
flashbacks every
He's a
time?
ghost.
it
He's a
is.
white.
It's always going to be
Oh, White
specific
Walker.
ones.
Yeah, that was going to be what I was thinking. What's going to happen to him now? Is he just flashback, or is he? Yeah, he's now the ghost that's going to go around and be like,
Oh man,
be on his
Grace gonna
shoulder.
haunt everyone
The
and
ghost
stuff.
of Yukon Past.
Yes.
Well, they did say they couldn't bury him until like the weekend, right? So
Yeah,
maybe-
which has built all
Maybe
sorts of
the eyes cured him.
Yes, that's right. Encased him and froze him like
Yeah.
Walt
Sleeping
Disney's
Beauty,
head.
7
So it's the
dwarfs are
same
going to
thing.
show up and we're good to go.
Yeah.
But we then get this whole storyline too with Bill. Now, is he going to leave or is he going to stay?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's apparently gambling on it. This is the new thing to
Alright.
gamble on. Is like, is he going to go or is he going to stay? So the people in the town are having fun with it. Soapy Smith is the one who's trying to get him to leave so he can take his claim.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because everyone's
and
getting
he-
pretty excited about this claim too.
Oh yeah. Because
It's
I think it's the
different.
first one
It's
on
the
the,
first
hill.
one.
Yeah.
That's why. And now they're like, someone did it, so now they feel they can go in and
Yeah, let's take it.
take it.
Do
Right.
the damn thing.
And you know what? I bet that
first.
Soapy's betting against him too. He's like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
want your claim, and
yeah.
I'm betting on the side that you're gone. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally. I think so too.
Wow.
So he got a lot of money on that.
Oh, yeah.
Soapy's kind of scummy in a lot of ways. So Bill also then finds out later that apparently there was a loan put in by Byron, and it goes back to our lady friend.
Oh, Belinda.
Back to Belinda. And he has a new partner as well.
Oh yeah.
So,
Which was interesting. I that was an extra little twist there.
yeah.
That was great.
I actually like his new partner. I think his new partner seems like a fun guy.
Joe Meeker, I think.
Yeah, that's
Meeker.
right. Meeker.
Yeah, Meeker.
Meeker, who also smokes to keep the mosquitoes away. You gotta have one of those with you so you can keep
Really?
mosquitoes away.
And
important.
apparently is the bartender.
Yeah.
Right? So he bartends, then goes out, digs for gold, comes back.
Why not? But fish is his thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
fish
fish
is.
you gotta have multiple jobs there, right? Until you find the gold, you gotta, you gotta do a little bit of everything.
Especially since there's not enough people to do everything.
Yeah, you gotta really have
Double
one.
it up.
Like, you can't just, like, if everyone's just digging all day, you kind of be screwed. So, like, what do you do here? So, yeah, so we get that storyline, and then Bill ends up hanging out with Jack London to find out if maybe it was the Native Americans, because
Right.
he was on this area,
Oh.
which I don't think he actually realized until this point that they weren't supposed to make a claim on the hill. But at this point, he finds out.
I like how Jack London.
He speaks Indian.
Oh yeah, I speak the language. Take me with you.
Perfect. I got this. Don't worry about it. And they end up heading to the Native American tribe, and they all say that they didn't do it, and I totally believe them.
I believe him too.
Well, it's almost one of those things that you kind of had to.
Right,
You know,
it's
you
just-
had to go by their word because you don't
yeah,
know.
what are you gonna
So
do?
that's what I was thinking when I was watching. I'm like, well, you have to trust them.
And they have the, they know the land more than he
Right.
does. You can't. What are you supposed to do?
Well, it's also the point that they made, which is totally true. Like, if we wanted to kill you,
We
would
would. It
do
would
it
have been
right-
done.
just do it
yeah.
right
Not
now.
talking.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
like
do it right
you're
now.
in our territory.
Yeah,
Like,
why would you be here?
yeah.
And like, I like how they said, like, we only kill when we have to. Basically, defensive.
Well, that's true. Yeah, and it also brings them back. Like, what's so good about those people? Like, you see, we're not the same.
Right.
You know, that's probably one
Yeah,
thing
and-
that they want to define as well.
Yeah, they're like, the white man do all these horrible things, but we're not.
It's not necessary. If we will, for a matter
Yeah.
of survival, because of what they've been through and everything else, absolutely. But no, yeah.
I think they said something about we're not going to let the white man turn us into savages.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's
what
the
they
one
said.
thing that we won't do. That's exactly what they said. Yep.
So the other storyline we end up getting, and that's going to come into play later, but the other storyline we end up getting, oh yeah, we also find out that Jack London can't speak.
Oh yeah,
Indian,
because
so-
they
of course.
just start speaking English.
She's like, yeah.
hey, these guys speak English. You guys good because I don't speak that language.
Yeah. But the other storyline we end up getting is with the judge and this new guy who's coming in and just wants to take Judge, I guess the priest, whose name is Judge.
Yeah.
Dredd.
Whoa.
I'm making a lot of random inside jokes.
Yeah.
So the priest who now has this one guy who wants his real estate. So apparently he ended up getting some prime real estate property, which I don't know how he just walked in and bought that out of nowhere.
Well, he's a priest.
That's what I thought too. I thought maybe he got the advantage because he went and said, "I want to put a church here."
You better
Exactly.
sell this
That's
land to
right.
God.
Okay.
Or maybe someone just gave it to him, I guess. That could be the case too.
Oh no, he bought it. He said he bought it.
Yeah, so then why would all the real estate people be like, I'm taking this from you because I've been wanting this land. Why
Yeah,
not
if
just
it
take
was
before?
open, why didn't they
Right.
buy it the day before?
Right, I'm thinking that too.
Oh well.
But anyways,
Maybe the person selling it
yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
didn't want to sell it to that guy.
I was thinking they didn't want to sell it to him, and again, because it
Yeah.
was a church and he was a priest, like they were like, we don't have a church here, so that's why I assumed they let him have it either at a better rate or whatever.
Oh, and God will love me if I sell him this
Exactly.
church.
I'm going to heaven now. If I s-
You'd be surprised how important God is to everyone, and especially again.
well,
for
they're in a
time.
frontier town and everything,
yeah.
and they
They
didn't have
needed
a
it.
church. They needed it, so that's why I thought.
And for the women
They
in
were
the
thinking of
town, you know that mostly. I mean, not that there was plenty, but and even though those women were, never mind. But I'm thinking about it. I'm just like, forget about it. Just kidding.
Now I'm curious where you're going.
I know. I'm like, what?
Don't leave us hanging.
Totally, you totally are.
So that's
Big tease.
Okay, so Bill ends up kind of getting a closer relationship with the landlady there. So, I accidentally wrote Sabine, but that's not right.
no.
it's,
Belinda. With Belinda.
Belinda,
Which is
yeah.
an interesting names there with Belinda. So. We do see it in the previews that Belinda, it looks like they're going to have some sort
kind
of
of a
relationship.
romance.
Yeah.
So a romantic relationship coming up with them.
spoiler alert.
And I really like the father judge a lot too. As I am Jewish, it was really cool to me to have this character who he wasn't going to perform the Christian rites for a Jew over Byron, but then he was like, but I will perform the rite of cottage for him. So it was
Right.
cool to me. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. I like him.
Well, and
yeah,
I liked him too.
Well, I also like the fact that he was just sitting there
Yeah.
before, like, go ahead.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
took him. I mean, it's sort of like saying, but he was sort of a father-like figure as well. Like
Absolutely.
to them, I felt in a way too. He was sort of fatherly to them, and I really kind of liked him right away for that.
like
I
the sternness, the strictness that they're
Yeah.
not going to get because they're free and young
Right.
and doing whatever they want to do.
But he was sort of like there, kind of like taking care of him in a way. So I did like that a lot.
So I like
character.
The
And
same
wisdom
time,
brings comfort, anyways, and he obviously has plenty of wisdom considering he's lived for so long.
he's a man of the
Not-
cloth.
Exactly.
Exactly.
He's a man of the cloth.
But to wrap up, as we do have to head out in just a moment, we have the Mounties coming into town, which is
Okay.
another big thing. So now we finally have some law coming into town.
Yep.
And it looks like at the end of this episode, they've captured the Native Americans, and I think it's the Native Americans who've done it.
Right.
And-
Which that's full of. I know that's not real.
We know
that's
it's not
totally,
we know it's not them, but they didn't like them anyway, so they're just going to round them up.
Right. They're going to do
Typical
that, exactly.
White men.
Yep.
And then we also have Bill Haskell makes a whole bunch of friends too. Yeah. I'm not going to say it's not like us.
Well,
I'm not going to deny anything.
No.
So I won't confirm it either. So Bill Haskell makes a bunch of friends too at the saloon afterwards, and with the lady who is feeding them the wolf.
wolf meat.
Yeah, the wolf meat, because I like eating things that want to eat us.
That's right.
It's another great line.
Yeah, that was great.
He actually makes some allies too, it seems like. So, and this is another thing too that's important, is that this murder is new to everybody. They're used to death but not murder.
Right.
So that's also an important key point. And then we have the fact that it looks like there's actually a battle between Belinda and this man who wants the real estate.
The Count is what they call him.
She's such a sucker for not shooting him.
Tim Roth. Whew, that guy. He's always a bad guy.
But then he started a cereal called Chocula, and everyone likes him.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I'm terrible jokes today.
They're funny.
So, thank you.
Just making you feel good.
So, let's go ahead and talk about what we think is going to happen, because I guess I only watched this episode so I could do the prediction.
Right, me too.
Yeah. So I was holding off.
And not to get confused
so
either.
For those of you guys who watched the whole series already, sorry, but we're doing one episode at a time so we can actually do predictions.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So, I mean, it looks like off the bat we've got the fact that we have the Native Americans on trial, a boat arriving for what initially Bill wanted that boat that was going to arrive, and then we have the fact that Bill's hooking up with Belinda. But beyond that, what do you guys think is going to happen?
I think that Bill's going to be cool with the Native Americans, and I think it's going to benefit him somehow. And then after the romance begins, I think she's going to mess it all up.
She might. She seems like she would mess something up.
Well, because she has to. If you're like the only female there that's trying to do it, you can't. She's in a position where she can't let a man get in the way.
Yeah, exactly. She's in a position of power,
right?
So she's definitely
love is weakness.
She has to be like a double agent, if you will, on all cases. Be cool with everyone because no one's gonna take her serious to begin with. So
I also think Bill's gonna end up with Sabine.
Yeah, they're always eyeballing.
But, yeah, so like Bill is, I mean, he hooks up with Belinda, and they have this mutual interest because now they both have the same claim.
Yep.
But eventually, I agree something's going to go awry, and I think Sabine's going to be the actual love interest in the end.
Yeah.
Even though it seems like in the preview she was in trouble, too.
Oh, yeah.
It looked like she was in trouble.
Oh, but when a female's in trouble, that's when she's most vulnerable and flattered, right?
Yeah, maybe he'll come to the rescue.
Romance, exactly, of course.
That's what my white man ideals think.
Yeah, that's right. He's going to have to come to the rescue.
He'll come to the rescue because he's a gentleman.
You can call me Rob Stark. Wait a second.
I think he's going to find gold, too. He's going to find gold.
Oh, yeah, I think so, too. He's definitely going to find gold.
Well, then
he's not going to say anything either, and it's going to be like, uh-oh.
There was something in the preview about a mine under his claim or something. I thought that's what they said.
Yeah, and then they got they put it down and they tried to kill the guys inside the mine.
So a lot of craziness for the episode we haven't seen. I guess if you guys already watched it, you can be like, maybe it's fun to be like, how right are we? So you type that in. But guys, thank you so much for joining us this week. Once again, I'm Dave Klein. You can find me on Twitter at @TheDaveKlein. That's KLEIN.
And you can find me on Twitter at SMan80, that's SMAN80, and here for Looking on Sunday nights and Archer and Chosen on Monday nights.
And my name is Stephanie Giorgi. You can find me at Stephanie Giorgi on Twitter and on Instagram at SteffiG47. I also do American Idol and The Fosters, so catch us out on Mondays and Wednesdays.
And you can find me, Dillon Chance, on Twitter at Dillon Chance. That's DILLON.
That's a good name. That's like easy.
That's a
nice.
Great.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.